Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review, impressions of a knife that I bought for the purpose of a giveaway. So this is the QSP Penguin in the button lock. And I hadn't had a chance to check one of these out yet. I kind of wanted to check it out because I've had a lot of Penguins. I had the mini, I've had the large, I've had the regular Penguin, I've had the frame lock. Checked a lot of it out. I've checked some of the QSP when they first did their first button locks, and one was a little iffy. It was like, I think, a first prototype kind of run. And then once they got that down, boy, they really improved their button locks. I got to tell you, this is so much better. And the later ones were just really good. But this to me is like, you know, you have a design that really works well and you put the button lock on there. It's a smart move. So let's talk about this. All right, so the knife name is the Penguin. Traditional knife, been around for a long time. It's kind of a staple. There's typically a liner lock inside a couple of G10 scales. They made some frame locks when they made some special editions of it. Then they made a mini and they made a large version of it. The large version actually had the flipper. So the regular size Penguin didn't really have a flipper. It was just the thumb studs only, right? The nice thing is you can kind of do the bonus reverse flick because it's nice flat grind that you get pretty good access to. So that does work, and it works on the button lock as well. The designer, I believe it's an in-house design. If somebody knows who explicitly designed this, feel free to comment down below. I do not. And I couldn't find any information on there. At least I've not been able to find where I looked. All right, so maybe I didn't look thoroughly enough, and if that's the case, I do apologize. But yeah, I believe it's an in-house design. Manufacturer is QSP. They're the ones who make the knife, design the knife, and produce the knife. So really cool. Materials. G10 handles. It's steel liners on the inside. If you can see, there's a lot of holes in there, which is weight relief on the steel liners. It is a little heavy because of steel liners. I mean, if you know, you could you make it a lighter version? Absolutely. Could there be like a titanium version? Sure. I'm pretty sure Traditional Pocket Knives has an exclusive with the jig titanium that's really nice. If you like this design, maybe go check those out. That might be really cool, right? But this is G10 handles, steel clip. It's not a titanium clip. Now you could probably put the traditional, get the QSP titanium clip, put that on there if you really want. This is 14C28N. It's a flat grind, not full flat, comes up to a flat little part here, but it comes pretty slicey. This is the black stone washed, which is nice. So it's all blacked out version. They had one that was JG10, you know, and a little clearer, but 14C28N is a great budget steel. I like that. It does have a plunge lock. The plunge lock engages pretty well. From what I can tell, the plunge lock engages probably a good 20%, 30% there. So it's nice and solid. There's no blade play, which is really cool. There's no pivot lash. And what you hear is it's almost like a click like a D10, but that's the plunge lock right there. Once you'll see it right here, you'll see how it's depressed here, and when I push it, it pops up. So that's what locks it in place. And plunge lock usually fits in there. So, you know, button locks are cool. They can be really nice, but they're never, to me, super hard used knives, right? Button lock is never the most secure type of lock out there, but it's a great EDC kind of lock for basically general everyday use. But if you're going to be really hard used, banging and beating up your knife, you know, I'd recommend maybe a different type of lock, just personally. But I like button locks, and it's really convenient. And for some people, it allows them to carry a knife because they may not be able to open and close it. Maybe they have some injuries or some strength limitations. So button locks are very convenient for that. So you can easily open and close them. You know, you can open and close it with the button lock as well. So that's nice. All right, the lock type, we already talked about how it works and opens. It opens with thumb studs. Let's do that again. Thumb studs work really well. Reverse thumb stud. Oop, let me do that again. Reverse really well. You just got to get down next to the frame and push, and it works really well. Push works really well. It's a nice crisp button lock. It does allow for a nice deployment. Here, the light switch works, and then you can probably, yeah, you can do the push button as well. The push button doesn't work, or it does work on this one as well. Now, the fact is you can reverse the clip, so it's left hand, right hand carry, and you'll notice there's an insert that can just be moved over. That's really cool. So it doesn't stick out and, you know, it's all edgy and sharp. For left-handed, easily work the thumb studs as well, just the same way, right? And then you actually can do the middle finger reverse flick as well, left-handed. I guess the only thing that some people think is when you're left-handed, you might squeeze on that. Now, I typically won't squeeze on either. You could do the finger trigger, the trigger choke up here like this, and typically I will choke up like that with my finger, trying to do a push cut like that. Now, if you choke up and you squeeze over, like, I mean, that just doesn't seemed logical to me. But if you do that, you're not going to do that. Now, if you're left-handed and you squeeze, is there a chance you could push that? Yeah, and it disengages when you're just past the level line, right? So if you got really thick calluses and you push really hard, you could probably disengage it, right? So, you know, maybe if you're choking up and you're squeezing really hard, just, I would say be careful, right? If you're right-handed, you choke up, my finger's usually out here. For this one over here, my finger would be out here, but there is a chance you could depress that. So just be careful, right? Just something to keep in mind with a button lock like that. All right, how it closes. Button lock releases and it closes, and you can have it just drop and it can bounce, right? If you leave it like that, it just bounces. But if you time it right, like most people do when they have button locks, it just locks right in, and then it doesn't bounce, right? So it works pretty nicely. It is nice and dead center, which is really, really cool. Blade is really nice. I like this Wharncliffe blade. This is really nice. Call it modified reverse Tonto Wharncliffe, sheep's foot, whatever you want to call it, right? I don't really care. I think it's a Wharncliffe sort of looking blade here. Some people might argue, no, it's a sheep's foot. Whatever you want to call it, you know, it's fine. It's got a corner, so, I mean, is it reverse Tonto? But it's rounded, so what is that? You know, I don't know. I like it. It's a very traditional penguin knife type design, and it's very functional. It works great for precision cuts, really, really comfortable, so I like that. All right, so let's do some measurements. Let's see how much this guy weighs. All right, so mind you, steel liners in G10, so it's 3.5 ounces, which is not bad. 3.5 ounces is not super heavy. I mean, it's a smaller knife, so, I mean, to be fair, that's not super light, but it's not super heavy. All right, so let's measure the width. Where's my measure? Oh, I'll put it over here. So the overall length of this knife we're looking at is a little over 7 inches, probably 7 1/16 of an inch. If you do the pocket clip, 1/8 of an inch, right? The grip area that you have here is about 3.5 inches of grip, and then if you do the finger choke up, you get about 4.1/8 of an inch. So I've got large hands, big meaty fingers, so large hands with big meaty fingers, I get all 4 fingers on there. If you have extra large hands with regular size fingers, you're probably gonna get all four on there. If you have double extra large hands with thinner fingers, you're gonna get all 4 on there. Once you get, you know, extra large with meaty fingers, you might be halfway out. You might be a little bit, and that's where choking up might work for you, and it gives you a lot of extra room. Keep that in mind. That might, you know, sway your decision if this knife is for you. All right, so let's look at the overall blade length. The blade is 3 inches from the tip all the way to the top of the scale. What is the overall cutting length? The overall cutting length, I'm going to say, is probably about 2 and I want to say 3/4. 2 3/4 is the overall cutting length on that. So that's what you're dealing with there. Let's look at the blade stock thickness on this guy. So the blade stock thickness on this one is 121 thousandths of an inch, so 0.12. Very typical for a thickness of a blade. It's not super thin, but it's not super, super thick. Comes down to a nice thin edge down here. Definitely pretty sharp, 14C28. It's easy to strop and keep sharp. I like that a lot, so that's nice. All right, is this a budget knife, regular knife, high-end knife? It's absolutely a budget knife. It's definitely under $100 for sure. If you find this on White Mountain Knives and use the discount code, you go to the BladeBinge Shop, and they have a QSP button lock, and you use the RNK10, you get 10% off, right? Both of those stores. So definitely would appreciate if you guys, you know, and if you go to one of the affiliates, you can find it. I believe this knife was selling for, I want to say it was 64, 65, I think. I'll have the price right here if I can't remember, right? But that's what I believe the price is. If it's not here, it's going to be in the description down below for sure. So, okay. But it's definitely a budget knife. It's not super expensive. I think for what you get and the materials, it's really nice. Will there be variations with carbon fiber? I'm sure. I know there's a titanium one at traditional pocket knives that they sell. It's really, really nice. So definitely worth checking out as well. So definitely a budget knife. What's the purpose? EDC hard use collection piece. EDC all day long, yes. Now, is it hard use? Hard use as you can use button lock with. If you're pounding stuff, plunge locks are never the best, because a plunge lock works like this. It's a plunge that goes down with a spring, and if you're bouncing, it can sometimes, if there's enough vibration, it can disengage the lock. So I don't recommend that, right? And if you're gonna be whacking hard things like that, I don't do a spine whack test on my knives. I think it's ridiculous. Now, I think if it's not engaged well, that's a concern for me, right? You know, if you just tap it and it were to disengage, that's not good, right? But a spine whack test, you're doing unnecessary force on a knife that will never happen unless you're using a knife not for its intended purposes, right? And if you're doing that, maybe get a fixed blade, get an axe, get a hammer, I don't know, pry bar tool. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Is it a collection piece? For me, budget knives are never a collection piece. They're meant to be bought and they can be replaced, right? Could you make it a collection piece? You can make anything you want a collection piece, so collect away. But for me, absolutely not a collection piece. All right, so let's talk about the ergos and feel, how it feels. Now, this is G10 scales. It's beautifully rounded. There's no sharp edges. You could, with a Dremel, G10, nice thing is you could round that a little bit more, make it even more comfortable if you wanted to, for sure. And that's something that's very, very possible to do with this knife. But I think it's nice and rounded. It's not super sharp. It's very blocky in one sense, but it's not contoured, but it's comfortable. It doesn't have sharp edges that are going to dig into. There's no pokey spots with the clip or anywhere, so that's really, really comfortable. The texture on the G10 is nice. It's enough to give you grips. It's not going to slip out of your hand. I really like that. There's adequate jimping on the blade up there. It's not on the stronger side of jimping, but if you push down, it does kind of help support it. I mean, it's not super aggressive jimping, keeping your finger in place. It could slide off, theoretically. There's jimping here as well, which is nice on a trigger, a trigger choke up position, because you don't want that finger sliding up into the blade. And having jimping can kind of hold your finger in place, so that's nice. That's, you know, a smart touch, because that jimping here is on the backside. No one's really ever going to use that, and the whole purpose of that is probably if you're pinch gripping, doing something like that, right? So I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's pretty cool. It does have a lanyard. It's not prioritized. I like that. Very deep, full deep pocket carry clip, fully hidden. I do appreciate that. So really, really nice. Overall feel, opening and closing. The thumb studs work well. The bonus flick works well. The flipper works well. The button works well. So you've got lots and lots of bonus ways to open and close this. And closing works really well too. It's not one of these where it just flies down, it's going to guillotine. Now, if it's with typical, I believe this is going to use the same skiff washers. If you wanted to put skiffs in there, you could make this even more buttery smooth. Definitely something cool to consider. I mean, I would do it if I had the traditional pocket knife, titanium exclusive M390 version, sure. But it's 14C28, maybe you want to put it in there just because you like it, the action, and you're like me, you're fidgety. If I carried this all day long, I would probably put skiffs in there just because I like to fidget with my knives. And this is definitely going to be a good fidget one. So the overall feel on this knife is good. It's very good, very positive. I like that. Fidget factor, well, you've got your thumb studs, and they work well. You've got the flipper, and it works well. You can do a push, oops, let me do that again. You can do the push button. You can do the light switch, right? You get the bonus flick right here. Bonus middle finger reverse flick, and I can do that both left and right-handed. Everything works both left and right-handed. And then you've got the button lock. So to me, this is like a 9.5 maybe. All right, I'm gonna say 9.5, and I'm gonna round it to a 10. This is like the extreme of fidgety goodness you could have. I mean, could you put a front flipper on there? I guess you could put a front flipper on there. It could stick out just a little bit. That could very well be possible. So, I mean, that's the only reason why I wouldn't give it a full 10, because, I mean, you could still have another way, but definitely as far as I'm concerned, when you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got 7 ways times 2, 14 ways to deploy this left and right-handed. To me, that's 9.5. That's a solid 9.5. Now, as far as fidgety goodness, out of that 9.5, how well does that work? Well, I got to tell you, for a budget knife, you know, if I put, you know, extreme high-end kind of conditions on there, it would still do well. It really would. But as far as a knife for a budget knife, I mean, this is 100%. It really is outstanding. Very, very impressive knife. I think if you're looking for a great budget knife, you want to do it as a gift, you want a budget knife that you can beat up and use in the yard, in the house, backpack. If you're looking for something, you know, that you're not going to worry about, maybe a child's first knife you're going to buy them, somebody, a friend, maybe your wife, you know, maybe there's different colors, obviously, of this one, but it's a nice smaller size. I mean, work well in a woman's hand as well. This is going to be a great, great knife. knife. Very much recommended. It works really, really nicely. So highly recommended. It's a great budget knife. It's absolutely going to be in my recommended budget knives. Definitely something worth considering. So that's my thoughts. Love to hear your thoughts, your questions about it. I don't know when this is going to be, I don't know if this is a giveaway for the channel or giveaway somewhere else, but I actually might be doing a collab or something with Rochambeau and his Spyderco mod stuff. So this might be, I think I'm going to maybe make that knife that I'm going to use for that. So I'm going to be giving away a knife as one of the content creators for his you know, his Spyderco mod little contest that he has. So this, I think I'm going to make that probably one of those knives. So anyways, yeah, I like it. And you guys tell me if you really like this knife a lot. Maybe I'll buy another one for our channel giveaway as well. Because I mean, I think it's a pretty cool knife. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, I'm almost considering getting that traditional pocket knife version if they have one. So anyways, there you go. My thoughts on that. I'd love to hear your comments. All right, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or entertaining, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel, allows the channel to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to all you guys who watch the videos, who like the videos, who enjoy the content. I really appreciate you guys. And if you haven't already, hit that notification button down below so you can be notified of future content like this video. Also, to my channel members, a big, big, big thank you. I appreciate you guys. You allow me to do things sooner than I ever thought I could. Thanks to your support of being channel members, I appreciate you guys. And as a small way for me to say thank you to the channel members, I do a once a month exclusive members giveaway. Usually it's a very nice knife, not a budget knife. This is a nice knife, but I try to find something a little nicer than this because people have been so generous with their channel memberships. So just so you know, if you've been on the fence, you thought, hey, I'd like to become a channel member, maybe the once a month members giveaway is interesting. I do have a link down in the description, 3 different tiers, very, you know, low end, medium, and high end. At least for my channel, they're low end, medium, high end. Something worth considering. I don't ever want anybody to feel obligated to be a channel member. If you don't, if you just enjoy watching the content, liking the videos and enjoying the live streams, I appreciate you. I really do. Don't ever feel obligated to be a channel member. But if you'd like to be a channel member, I'd be honored. I'd be very appreciative. So yeah, that's how you become a member down there. And also as a way for me, another way for me to say thank you to every channel member, I do make sure every channel member gets a channel, a Rob's Nerdy Knives sticker. So if you just became a channel member and you've never had a sticker, or if you've just you know, been a member for a while or re-signed up as a member and you've never received a channel sticker, email me. The link should be in the homepage, the members homepage, or the my channel homepage. Email me with your name and address. I would love to send you a sticker. It's my small way to say thank you. So thank you. Also, if you haven't already, check me out on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.